Home Alone is probably the Christmas classic. The fact that it shows up every year without fail is a testament to its writing and overall theme. Following the story of a kid that probably lives out every young boy's dream of defending their home from home invaders. But if you change the perspective a little bit, it becomes a story of two career burglars surviving an onslaught of attacks from a sociopathic little boy, surviving injuries that would probably put them in the hospital or worse. But to understand that, let me just put you in one of the burglar's shoes, and in this case it will be Harry, because he's probably the more reasonable and the least insane of the two. Now imagine for a second that you are Harry Lime. You have probably become one of the most prolific robbers in Chicago, or at least speculatively. But really, it's what you do that allows you to be such a prolific burglar. You find creative ways to case houses, and this time you decide to be a concerned police officer, ensuring that the people of this area are all prepared for all of the problems that can come out during Christmas. And rather than invest in actual useful technologies like burglar alarms,
oh yeah, well, we have automatic timers for our lights, locks for our doors. That's about as well as anybody can do these days, right?
Great. Amazing for you, but it just goes to show that even rich people are pretty stupid. And at least now you have a window for you to burgle. This house that you've gone to is the house that you want to burgle the most. It is full to the brim of crap. Crap that you can sell very easily. Your fence would literally salivate at the thought of getting all of this stuff. It's just a shame that it took you so long to get their attention. I mean, in fact, like the pizza boy came in after you and they completely ignored you and you got there first. I mean, if this was England, Jesus Christ, there'd actually be an uproar. These Americans, they just don't know how to queue, do they? Anyway, you've just been robbed by the most sacred right of the civilized world, your place in line. Truly, this is the worst crime that someone can commit, and you want to get your own back. Now, it's personal. Anyway, the wife lets you know that they're leaving in the morning to go to Paris. And fantastic. That is some really good information. So you get on your way knowing that tomorrow night, you're going to be a hell of a lot richer. Next day, you call up your buddy Marv, who is your partner in crime, and you sit on the street outside and you flex that information that you got from your trip around the block. Why not go for the jugular? The gem of the street, the crown jewel of the suburb, but just as you get there, the light turns on round the back. It's weird, maybe the old lady got her wires crossed, it happens, so you get out of there quick. The next day, you and Marv decide to case another joint, bit of a day job. I mean, it doesn't really matter, and you are, kind of like pretending to be plumbers, so it makes more sense that you would go during the day. It's just a shame that Marv has the subtlety of a punch in the face. And halfway through, he just runs in to tell you that the guys over the road are actually in Paris and they won't be back, which is quite serendipitous. Imagine you just happen to rob the right house at the right time that a guy called to tell you that he isn't in the house. I mean, wild. Clearly God just wants you to steal this house or something. But just as you're leaving, Marv comes back all smiles and cheerful. He said he wanted to go and use the toilet. You really knew what he was up to, and he comes back and he decided to flood the place again. And the guy wants you to be called the Wet Bandits. I mean, it sounds like something a child would think of. I mean, you could at least call yourselves like the Moist Criminals or something.
We're the Wet Bandits.
You're sick, you know that? You're really sick.
And ain't no way this is going to come back to bite you, right? Holy shit, you nearly ran a kid over. I mean, that could have been bad considering how much stuff you got on the back, and luckily you did manage to break in time because that kid has zero survival skills, didn't try to jump out in the way, didn't try to cover himself, no, literally just screamed at your license plate. Kids, man, they get dumber every generation. But he seemed to recognize you when you smiled, and you decide to follow him. I mean, this was the most stranger danger thing that you've ever done in your life, a blacked out van following a kid down the road. Like, not even subtly. If a police came by at that point in time, well, it's kind of sus, isn't it?
I'm not going there.
Me neither.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, you're not exactly like on Jesus' good books, are you? You're probably on Santa's naughty list as well. Like, what the hell? Okay, maybe someone's just having a house party in there or something. I mean, like, that's the only logical conclusion that you can come to. I mean, it would be very strange if someone would happen to, say, have mannequins just lying around and were controlling them through ropes and pulleys and trains to pretend that there are people indoors. That would actually be quite bizarre. So you go home and you come back the next day, and you send Marv in to go and check it out. Well, it's very lucky this whole neighborhood is on holiday, because it would be awfully strange if they saw your beat-up van constantly surveilling different houses and not actually doing any work. Anyway, Marv comes back.
Somebody beat us to the job. They're in there.
And you sit tight to see what's up.
Hold it. Let's wait and see who it is.
It's a fantastic scapegoat. And you could probably pin all of the robberies on the area on this guy. It's not a bad plan, actually. So you scope out the place. You find out it's a little kid all alone in that big old house. Now, at this point, you have two options, right? You could accept there's a little kid in there and just avoid robbing the building, so that way you don't have any witnesses and you don't have to, remove witnesses, which you would probably have to do because he has seen your face on more than one occasion now. Meaning that by following through on this plan, you are now going to have to escalate your craft and not just flooding basements anymore. You're going to add a little bit of cheeky murder to your little repertoire now if you're going to follow through on this plan. And that's what you decide to do. And you will stop being the wet bandits and become the next Bono and Clyde. A few hours later, you come back and you're ready. Whatever happens, it happens. You're fully committed to what you're going to do tonight. Kid or no kid. So you guys head to the back door and you decide to tease him a little bit.
No. Got some nice presents for you.
Did this little prick just shoot you in your prick? Like, what? Okay, he's actually a psycho.
Hello.
I mean, this kid is ruthless. And you go to the front door and you're basically doing your best Bambi impression. And as you're lying there contemplating the back of your stunt double, you question, now how did this little shit do this? Or is it just Chicago suburban homes just aren't OSHA compliant? Like, this kid is actually a full-on sociopath or something. Like, who does this? Who does that? Your hand is literally steaming in the snow. Like, that's not normal. And now you're branded with a big fat M on your hand. Awesome. Now when you try to finger a girl, what are you going to say? M is for masturbation? So you try to go around the back. Why is it fired? Like, why is it always fired? This kid is an arsonist or something, because something just doesn't make sense here. He's trying to kill you guys. Well, I mean, technically, you're trying to kill him too, so... But you actually managed to kick the door down. Now, why didn't you think of that before? Turns out doors don't fight back, but apparently this house does. So you rush through the house and your face gets covered in cling film? But that's weird. That little prick just tarred and feathered you. I mean, seriously, is this like the 1800s or something? Like, it didn't even hurt. It's just mildly inconvenient and just frankly a bit frustrating. But then you run back into Marv and he looks like he's been through the ringer with a literal outline of an iron. And judging by it, it probably came from height. It's lucky the thing didn't land pointing down, because he'd probably be dead. Actually, at this point, you should really be questioning whether or not you should continue, because clearly you both have just managed to survive by some strokes of fortune or some kind of fortitude. And clearly this kid is not stupid. But instead of preserving your life, you think, fuck it, we gotta kill this kid. You are the master burglar after all. You are the brains of the operation, and there ain't no way you're gonna get outsmarted by a kindergartner, right? And okay, seriously, you guys need to watch your step. Like, how could you keep falling for this? Like, you literally can just look down and see that there was stuff on the floor. Okay, master burglar. Sure.
Heads up! Huh? Oh!
And as you lay there staring at the eyes of your partner, do you really think you can continue like this? Do you really think this is worth your time? You have first-degree burns on your head. You have a brand on your hand. You have no small amount of back injuries from falling every 5 minutes, but you still want to continue. Truly, this is the fallibility of man, to pursue something that is beyond their comprehension. Clearly, this kid needs to be at MIT right now, because it's not just engineering what he's doing, it's social engineering at its finest. And so you chase the little bastard upstairs, and Marv almost gets his hand on the little car bastard, but he uses a literal spider. And you are cruelly reminded that in positions of stress, people don't think straight. And Marv just broke 2 of your ribs.
I'm here, you big horse's ass. Come and get me before I call the police.
So you have a decision to make. You can follow him on this road, or you can go back downstairs into the house.
Just what he wants us to do.
Clearly, he probably wants you to go back downstairs into the house, right? And there's going to be even more booby traps. But if you go on this rope, the rope's fine, right? Surely nothing bad can happen here. Yeah, okay, now that was kind of to be expected at that point, wasn't it? But I mean, like, you guys must be superhuman or something because, you know, you should consider doing street shows or something. Because all of the stuff that you've endured thus far is actually quite incredible. And swinging on a rope into a brick wall and then falling didn't even faze you, just got straight back up and started running. Like, honestly, I don't even blame the kid for having very few tricks left. I'm pretty sure anyone else in the world would be dead at this point. You actually outsmarted them. And you know what they say? If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. And maybe you'll be able to beat a 10-year-old, or however old he is. But you're just getting ready to extract your vengeance on the little shit. And a man comes back from behind and sucker punches the hell out of both of you. And this is what finally gets you? A man hitting you with a snow shovel?
Always leaving the water running? Now we know each and every house that you've hit.
And of course, Mars' proclivity for flooding basements gets you in trouble. And now you'll forever go down as the wet bandits, man. And actually, wait a minute. How did this little kid know you flooded the floor? Did he just lure you to this house to call the cops? There's no way, man. I mean, if he did, then there's no wonder you lost to this kid. Because, I mean, like, this is a certifiable IQ that would make even the top Mensa people cower in fear. Honestly, I'm half expecting this kid to produce a memoir called How to Break a Burglar's Spirit in 10 Easy Steps. And hell, I'd probably buy it. If you like the video, please give it a like, and thank you so much for watching. Please comment down below which one you want to see next. Next week might be slightly different. Just letting you know. I just want to shout out my members, especially Jay Lee. Thank you, Jay Lee. And of course, Lavender, Yuri, and Alan. Thank you. Have a great day and have a great life.